Alright, so Together. It's the latest horror film from Neon, directed by Michael Shanks, starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie. And the film follows the two as a fictional couple who is going through a rough time as they move into their new house. Now, the film is being hailed as one of the best horror films of the year. However, is it really? Well, let's find out. Now, so as I was saying, Together, it is the latest horror film coming in from Neon. Now, Neon has really proven themselves in the last few years with things like Longlegs, The Monkey, and now this movie. They are really, going up there in terms of horror movies. Now, I'm not really, the biggest fan of, some modern horror movies. I'm not really a big fan of a lot of, A24 horror movies. They're a bit random for me. But Neon has been really putting out really good stuff recently, and I'm really excited to see, Oscar Perkins' Keeper coming out soon. I think they have a few other horror films maybe coming out soon, so I'm really excited about all of those. But Together is one which I wasn't really as excited about. I was still excited about it. This is this year's The Substance. It's a body horror movie, and that right off the bat. The movie, I'm not gonna, go into spoiler territory, but momentarily I might near the end, but right as this movie begins, it's a horror movie, it's a body horror movie specifically, and that there's going to be some messed up stuff in it. Now, yeah, the film follows our two leads, Tim and Millie, as of course they are working through their relationship problems. Tim is experiencing some trauma, and Millie is just really dealing with all, the aftermath of his, panic attacks and his anxiety attacks and everything. And there is really, a obvious divide between the two. There is, a shift, in the relationship. There's something happening with, Tim. He's having these horrible nightmares about, a certain topic, which I won't get into because it is spoilers, but he's going through all of this, and at the same time, he's also just ignoring her and her problems. And it all comes together really nicely how they are drawn together through what is happening to them. And the way that it's all explained why this is happening to them, I felt was explained quite well. Usually in a film like this, it'll just go full ham on with all the body horror effects and all of that stuff, and then usually it won't really have a lot of time for explanation, whereas films like this and The Substance, they did really have, just enough time for an explanation. Of course, a film like The Substance, they explained it sort of right off the bat, where it was like, okay, this is Substance, it's going to make you younger again, just inject it into yourself, and blam, you're going to be, you're going to have a younger clone of yourself. Whereas this, it is much more something like the occult, and that is where I feel like it probably differs from the other movies, which, there is an ongoing lawsuit which claims that this movie copied other movies. Now, to give them the benefit of the doubt, this is a very I'm gonna give the movie credit. It is a good movie, but it's not exactly a hard idea to come up with. And I'm sure there's loads of other movies and or books, TV shows, comics, etc. where, even games probably, where two people or more than one person get stuck together and then go through shit. And well, that definitely happens in this movie. And there's that other film, I believe it's called A Folded Ocean, and there's also a comedy movie which claimed this film was plagiarizing it. I don't really feel that it did. I will go and watch those movies now that I have seen this. I probably should have seen them beforehand, but I will go and watch them, and I might do a comparison video between the two, just to see if the lawsuit has legal grounds and stuff, which probably has some sort, just because of ideas. And apparently, well, allegedly it was pitched to Alison Brie and Dave Franco, but I'm just once again going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I really did like this movie. Hey everyone, we're about halfway through the video now, so if you are enjoying, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, back to the video. Now, going in a bit more on the effects and everything with the movie, they were really good. Besides from one bit, nearer to the end, but it is not, the big fiasco part, if you know what I mean. It's more just one shot. Everything else looks really, really good. You can tell that they spent, a decent amount of money on effects. From what I can tell, it looked like there was some sort of practicality, but it looked like there was a good amount of digital. Because, I don't think Alison Brie and Dave Franco, they want to be, like, stuck in some, like, blob of goo and, like, fake blood and guts and stuff, like, the whole day. And, of course, the makeup effects, like, the time it would take to put that on would be insane. But, I did think that it ultimately came out looking really well. And, of all the films that I've watched this year, this is definitely the best one I've seen so far. It's just got something about it which I did really enjoy. Like, both the actors had great chemistry because, obviously they are married. And it did work really well in the movie. And the direction of the film I felt was really good, The story is coherent and it flows perfectly. There is maybe, like, one part where I was like, what the hell is going on? And then it led into, like, a jump scare. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to shut up and just let the film do its thing. Because I was having a great time. And, obviously they packed cinema. Everyone was loving it. There is one scene that completely shocked me. I was surprised they showed that in a 15 rated movie, which I might do like a rant about age ratings in the UK soon, just because of how much they do like piss me off. But that's completely besides the point. I'm here to talk about it together, so I'm just gonna get back on track. And like talking a bit more about the gore. It isn't like too much, but it is like the perfect amount where you will still enjoy it, and you might, if you're squeamish, you might be like, no. But even I, as someone who can like take gore, I was quite shocked at some of the stuff that they did do in the movie, particularly in a scene at school. I was quite shocked about that. It might be a spoiler, but I feel like at this point, right, it doesn't really give away anything, but it just makes you go like, what the hell? And that was definitely like everyone's reaction. There was a lot of like audible reactions to this movie while everything was going on. And that is really what I guess upped like that is probably what I guess upped the movie for me, because in the packed out cinema you got loads of people just going like crazy for a horror movie. Of course, not Scream too crazy. Nothing would be as crazy as the people in that cinema there for Stab. But sadly, I don't think we'll really get anything like that IRL for a horror movie until, I don't know, Scream 17 or something like that, when they bring back Sydney for time travel or something. And yeah, ultimately, I did really enjoy this movie. I am going to be giving it a 10 out of 10 just because, not really recently has a film actually made me like feel something, and this movie actually did for once. That might sound weird, but it's just for... most films, like particularly horror films nowadays, are either just a comedy or they're just dire. Like dire as in either like the tone, or just dire as in the quality of the film where it's just straight ass. This though, it's a good film. It's got emotion to it, which I did actually enjoy. Like if a film is able to balance all of these things together, it is going to come out a masterpiece, which I kind of feel this film's etching toward that slowly and slowly. I am probably going to go rewatch it in like a week or something. Or maybe when it comes to streaming. But I will definitely be picking this up as a physical copy for my DVD collection. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this review. Thank you all for watching. Go check out Together when it's in cinemas near you guys. Yeah, really good film. I did really enjoy it. And until next time, thank you for watching.